So welcome for today's special lecture. We have with us Professor B.P. Singh from Chandigarh. So he is the expert in terms of micropaleontology and paleontology, a subject which is really now very obscure in terms of geology. People don't have much of relevance, but his expertise goes in terms of early Earth and how was the climate at that point of time. Many of us who works in this domain have a lot of curiosity that where those samples are preserved. So Professor B.P. Singh started his journey right from Nainital, where he did his bachelor's, master's, and then finally did his PhD from Wadia and Wadia Institute of Himalayan Geology, where his essential interest is to venture out into Himalaya. So what you will see today is a lot of photographs of Himalaya and see that how our Earth age through time is very much well preserved as books in Earth history. So this is like books which we read, and they are like a chapters which get unfold when you see certain features being recorded on those books. So he's right now as associate professor there, and his interest is to work onto the time when humans were not there, but there were organisms which sustained on this planet. I leave this platform to Professor Singh.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor Ghosh, and thank you to all of you for joining this lecture. I am going to deliver a small talk on recent advances on the Cambrian and Ordovician geology of Northwest Himalaya. And this is quite interesting because nowadays we are not getting enough Himalayan geologists. So if I can motivate any one of you to work on Himalaya, it will be a great achievement for me. So in Cambrian and Ordovician of Himalaya, basically these rocks occurs in two belts. One is the Tethyan Himalayan zone and other is the Lesser Himalaya. In Tethyan Himalaya, they are exposed from Kashmir, Poru Valley up to the Kali Valley in Indo-Nepal border. So there are numbers of valleys, at least 19 valleys I have visited and worked in the particular this rock types. And in Lesser Himalaya, I have 5 synclines from northwest Nigalidhar up to the Nainital syncline in the southeast portion. So the rocks of these ages are present in the these particular zones. If you talk about the work in done in the particular these zone, Tethyan Himalayan zone and Lesser Himalayan zone, you can see here in Tethyan Himalayan zone, it's a 126 year of research work, but this work has been done in a punctured manner. For example, in 1899 and 1905, Henry Hedden from the Geological Survey of India, he worked, and the work of collection of fossils was published by Reed in 1910. Then there was a gap again, 1934, Wadia, Kobayashi and Reef, they worked in the northwestern Himalaya. Again, there was a gap up to the 1968 when Professor S.K. Shah, Owen Bhargava, Srikantia, Bassi, Dungraguti and Whittington, they worked from 1968 to 1998. Unfortunately, again, a big gap occurs, and now from 2008 onwards, my group and some foreign collaborators are working in Himalaya. So if you see that the geological time scale is evolved greatly in 2013. So all work done before 2013 are now need a revision, quite revision in the Himalaya, everywhere also. Similarly, in the Lesser Himalayan zone, if you see that 1864 initial work of Medlicott up to the 1978, it's a time period of 114 years. These rocks are classified under the Mesozoic time period because we have one mentality. If a foreigner say this, then we follow blindly. This is this. Same thing is happened here. Order 1934 assigned these rocks to Mesozoic rocks, and from 1954 to 1978, these all nearly 50 researchers and more than 100 research papers are saying this is the Mesozoic fauna. But in 1978, something happened. A worker from MSc student, he published Cambrian and Ordovician fossils from the Tal group. And after that, these rocks, which are considered as Mesozoic, now categorized under the Cambrian and Ordovician rocks. So, if you see that 1880 to 2012, the Cambrian is divided into lower, middle, and late. But from 2013, the International Subcommission on Cambrian Stratigraphy divided the Cambrian system into 4 series and 10 stages and fixed the different million years ages. Unfortunately, in India, I am the last one who is working on Cambrian. And I did my PhD in 2007. So this time scale came in 2013. So you can think it, how much work I need to do it. Being a corresponding member of International Subcommission on Cambrian Stratigraphy, it was now my duty to perform the Indian Himalayan rocks under these division of rock. So basic problem was with me, what was the existing gap that time? So how much Cambrian is presented after erosion in Himalaya? Now the question is that whatever the work done by the Geological Survey of India, they said Cambrian is present, and whatever the rocks are present in one area, they are also extended in the other areas from northwest to southeast. But actually, that was not the case. So, keeping this gap, I divided the problems into 4 parts, major part. So first was that it was presumed that the Cambrian sequence in the Tethyan Himalayan zone extended uninterruptedly along the strike. Second, it was also suggested that the biogeneration available in the Cambrian of Spiti is applicable to all other areas. Third, the relation between the Cambrian and Ordovician deposits is identified as angular discordance, that is recognized by the Hayden in 1904. But it was not analyzed how much of Cambrian is eroded prior to the deposition of Ordovician rocks. Fourth, it was evoked that Kashmir fauna remains as unique as it shows a very low faunal elements with the Jaskar and Spiti, and because of this, they think Kashmir fauna is endemic and in nature and biophysis controlled. So keeping these 4 major objectives, I started work in 2013 in Himalaya. So I selected many valleys. So almost I have achieved in the Janskar, Spiti and Kinnor. These all valleys are done. And work on progress is particularly in Kumaon and Garhwal regions. Still I am working in that particular area. So what I got in Tethyan Himalayan zone, when I put the rocks of Tethyan Himalayan zone with respect to the geological time scale of 2013, I find out in Tethyan Himalayan zone only stage 4 to Gujangian, it's a small time period, the rocks are preserved in the Cambrian. And meanwhile, when I analyze the Lesser Himalayan zone rocks, I find out here we have rock from Ediacaran up to the 512 million year. So only 2 million year of time period from 514 to 512 is correlative in both areas. Rest, we don't have the same Cambrian rocks in Tethyan Himalayan zone and Lesser Himalayan zone. So keeping the first problem, because it was said Cambrian in Tethyan Himalayan zone is uniform throughout, it's a strike. So after a work of 10 years from these valleys, Nirisarapchu up to the particular Pin Valley, this portion I am explaining here, I find out this is the field work done in 2013 to 2024. It's a 12-year field work. I find out there are many fault systems present in the Cambrian rocks, and I dated all fault biostratigraphically. Means if there is a fault, what fauna is here and what fauna is above the fault. So based on that, same thing in Chandra Valley, in Parayo Valley, Spiti, and then Sumna Valley and Pin Valley, I find out there is a revision of lithostratigraphy is needed, and I revised the lithostratigraphy of these Cambrian rocks. Meanwhile, when I presented a comparative column, litho column from Janstar up to the Pin Valley, I find out that there are number of faults, and due to these faults, many stratas are omitted. They are missing. The biogenesis present in the Spiti region was this, is only useful in the Spiti sections. These are the three valleys of Spiti, and the same rocks are missing in other areas. So the motivation that whatever be biogenesis present in the Spiti region is applicable to all other regions, it is also unuseful, because you see that these rocks are not present in the other part of Himalaya. We are trying to get more data from this particular eastern portion, like Kumaon and Garhwal area. Then we can see how much is the case present in that particular area. So the first problem, the answer is that the Cambrian sequence in Scythian Himalayan zone is not uniform and interrupted by various faults. Second, the biogenesis available in the Spiti region is applicable for all Himalayan Cambrian section. These are the biogenesis of Spiti. You can see that 510 million year up to the 504 million year. It means only 6 million year of data is available in the Cambrian. And this is contribution done by many authors, start from Hayden 1905. So we find out that there is these biozones are only applicable in the Spiti regions, but they are not present in the Janstar region. And even the new data which are coming from this Northwest Himalaya, like Kinnaur and Kumaon Garhwal region, they are also showing that this section is not present in that particular region. So moreover, it is analyzed that it is not applicable for all Himalayan Cambrian sections. Third problem, that how much Cambrian rocks is present below the Cambro-Ordovician angular discordance. So this is the rock. You can see this is the Ordovician rocks. And initially, it is thought that whatever we present in Janstar Cambrian, it is also present in the other area. But I find out these Cambrian rocks from northwest to southeast, they are progressively cut down by the unconformity. So it shows that if these rocks, see here is the trilobite biozones from this particular also Karsa formation, Kurgap formation, they are also Cambrian unit, but they are absent in the towards this direction. And even last data I have recorded from Kali Valley, still it is not plotted here because it is not published here. It shows that Cambrian goes down, only a small portion of Cambrian rocks are present in the Kali Valley. So it is showing progressively down cutting from the northwest to southeast. So it indicates that the Indian plate was tilted during this time period, particularly Cambrian time, at the time of Cambrian and Ordovician boundary. It is tilted like this. Because of that, the whole rocks which was deposited earlier here was eroded prior to the deposition of this Ordovician rocks. So this is the output of that work prior to the Cambro-Ordovician angular discordance. The Cambrian deposits show progressive downcutting from northwest to southeast direction. Number 4 problem was that Kashmir fauna remains as unique as it shares a very low faunal element with the Janstar and Spiti regions. So what happened? This is the biozones for the Kashmir section, Cambrian section, you can see here. And this is for the Spiti section. Here, one common element was the Pagicea, the least fossil, which is also known from the Arctocapillus indicus biozone. So previous all workers correlated direct this horizon to Indicus zone, and another one Irunlesia boots is occurs here also, and Hundwarila it is also occurs here. So they thought that rest of the fauna this is unique. Similarly, in Spiti this is unique. So they are not correlative except for the Pagesia and Irunlesia and Hundwarila, these three genus. Rest other trilobites were different. So it is known that Cambrian trilobite shows endemism. Endemic means a particular area occupied by a particular type of genus. They can't move to and far places. So that is the case they consider. So when I did field in Spiti in 2021, I published a paper. I find out this Pagesia again in a higher stratigraphic level in Spiti. So this is the white section of juncture of Sumna in Prayo Valley, and you can see here this is the portion highlighted here. I am sitting here, and this particular horizon keeping the trilobite Zingrenaspis and Pagesia association. So if you see this figure here, Pagesia occurs with the another trilobite, that is the Zingrenaspis. Zingrenaspis is a polymerate and Pagesia is a blind trilobite, very small one. So they used to live together, and Zingrenaspis initially was not reported from the Spiti. So when I was working here in this section particularly, I find out the both association, Pagesia and Zingrenaspis, and I have given a straightforward correlation. This is the portion. Zingrenaspis, you can see here, Zingrenaspis Pagesia, I got this Zingrenaspis Pagesia higher than the Salteri zone in Spiti. So I decided to put equal level here. So what is now the fauna of this particular zone is correlative both in the Spiti and Kashmir. The other fauna of Kashmir is not yet discovered in the Spiti region because we have still 200 to 300 meter of section which need thorough study. And those which occurs in the lower part of the Spiti region, they are yet need to be found out in Kashmir region. Because Kashmir section are not that much of thick. They are small patchy sections like 100 meter, 200 meter or something 50 meter, 40 meter like this. So it is very hard and they are exposed in a patchy manner. So a continuous section is not possible in Kashmir section. But if someone will work in the lower part, they will find out all trilobite fauna of Spiti. So now concluded that Cambrian fauna from Kashmir are slightly younger in age, and the equivalent section of these are poorly exposed in the Spiti and Janskar region. Second, Kashmir fauna are neither endemic or nor in biospecies controlled. We need to work more in both regions to find out the correlative levels. So more work is required in the Cambrian of Kashmir to work. So based on that, if you see that how much I put a project proposal in CRG, and I don't know who was the reviewer of that proposal, but they said that already the work has been done. No money is required. And it was on 2017, but after 2017, I have published 34 papers in Cambrian trilobites from different areas. So where is the work is finished? But I don't know who is sitting in the committees. They are saying the work is over, not needed. Anyhow, what is the future prospect? I'm telling you, see here 542 million year. This is the pre-Cambrian boundary, and this is the 514 million year. Entire data is missing from the Tithan Himalaya. We don't have any data. So no data available, need detailed study. This is the future prospect for the work. And wherever data is available, you can see here no biogeneration. So these data also require refinement. So those who want to work in these particular areas come up and start the working in particular aspects. So a high resolution biostratigraphic data is needed. Refinement of existing data is also required. This data is entirely lacking. We need a fine biostratigrapher or paleontologist to work on these aspects. Now I took you to Cambrian of Lesser Himalayan zone. It is lower altitude areas. Tithan is very high altitude area, up to the 17,000 feet to 22,000 feet heights. The sections are exposed and very difficult to work in that area. But this is the Lesser Himalaya. We can work here also. So I told you that because of the initial research and some mistake of Mesozoic age, the current work is going on here. So after reviewing the entire literature from 1864 to this, I find out one thing. It was interpreted that the Tal group of rocks in the Lesser Himalayan zone represents Cambrian age, broad time period from 538 to 486 million years. You can see here the age early Cambrian, middle Cambrian, and late Cambrian. That is given by the Hughes et al. 2005 paper. This work is done in the Nigalidhar syncline by Bhargava team, and this work has been done in the Masuri syncline by Shankar et al. Team. So, and Hughes had correlated these phenomena and find out the ages, different ages. When I see these ages under the geological time scale 2013, it shows 538 to 486 million years at Hughes time period. And in Tithan Himalaya, I could not find out rocks younger than middle Cambrian. So we don't have late Cambrian in the Tithan Himalayan zone. So I suspected why it is in Lesser Himalayan zone. So the work has been started from 2011 onwards, and almost these three synclines I have covered: Nigalidhar, Korgai, Masuri, and work is under progress in Garhwal and Nainital synclines. So problem was that broad time period age was given. So when I studied the Nigalidhar syncline and see this hillock, the particular top, this hill, I was collecting the sample from this sail member. This is SM. So I observed that this sail member suddenly, literally not extended. Again, it is appear here, pinching here, and then again missing, and again pinching here. And when I measured this portion, I find out Ordovician trace fossils, typical, which was not given previously. And also I find out there are difference between sail member dip and this above archeologic sandstone member dip. Difference was 7 degrees. They are showing angular discordance. So I sent a paper to Nature Geoscience, and out of 4 reviewers, 3 were convinced with the this, but one, Nigel Hughes, was not agree with that. Because I know that they are working in this areas, so my data is not exposed, I withdraw my paper from Nature Geoscience and published it in Paleontological Society of India, Lucknow, a small journal having impact factor of 0.5 now. That time there was no impact factor. So I published it anyhow because I don't want to lose the data. So these are the fossils from that particular Ordovician fossil. There are so many fossils. And based on that, the stratigraphic range of these fossils, I assigned the Ordovician rocks in Himalaya. What I find out, the last Cambrian rock is up to 512 million years. That is the sail member where I have the trilobite of Ridley Noitlingi. And above that, these rocks shows the trace fossil typically indicating age of 485 million years, indicating a gap of 27 million years. So now Tal group, which is initially considered to be late Cambrian also, early, middle, and late, now it came out that upper portion is Ordovician and Silurian. How much Silurian is present is still not known because upper quartite I have not explored. But Archeologic sandstone or algal limestone, they are Ordovician in age. The same thing, so you can see here that according to the time scale, I put it the different fossil zones. Ediacara earthy sandstone brings the 550 million year fossils. Then Chalti member have 538 million year fossils. This banded siltstone member have Drepanopaisi gopini, it's a trilobite of 516 million year, and Sail member is having Ridley and Notlingi of 512 million year. And then finally we have 485 million year fossils in the Archeologic sandstone member. So when analyzed the comparison of Lesser and Tethyan Himalayan zone, I observed that this also extended. This is a portion of unconformity which is quite correlative with the Kurgia-Kurudini time period during the Cambrian-Ordovician interval, and this extended to Tethyan Himalayan zone to the Lesser Himalayan zone. So the tilting of Indian plate was proposed during that time period. Entire plate was tilted rather than only the northern Janskar or Spiti region. So based on that discovery, I put all the Korgai, Masuri, Garhwal, Syncline, all areas, how much portion is preserved as the Cambrian. So I find out it is also showing progressive downcutting. Same thing which is occurs in the Tethyan Himalayan sector, or also indicated by the Lesser Himalayan zone. From Nigalidhar, it is on northwestern portion, and this is the Garhwal Syncline, it is in the southwestern portion. So it is showing progressive downcutting of Cambrian rocks in the Lesser Himalayan zone. Now come towards the Ordovician rock. Ordovician are exposed in Kashmir, Spiti, Janskar, Kinnaur, Garhwal, and Kumaon. So when I have gathered only for data from Janskar, Spiti, and Kinnaur right now. So in they are Tethyan Himalayan zone. They are grouped under the Sanugba Group. One is the Thango formation, lower part, and upper part is the Takchi formation. Their age is given, broad age is given for the Thango formation because it's a conglomerate and red quartzite without fossils. So no age constant is available. Takchi formation, which is also known as Pin formation, is now categorized under Cation to Lalandovili early Silurian time period. This is the beautiful section of Pin Valley. You can see here. This is portion for the Cambrian rocks, and this is the boundary of Cambrian and Ordovician, that is the angular discordance. And then again we have the Thango formation. This is red quartzite, and we have Takchi formation. It is a carbonate bearing rock, entirely carbonate, shale and siltstone is sandstone also. And then contact with the Muth formation. This is a quartzite, pure quartzite of beach system, is also unequal contact. This is the erosional contact here again. So whatever be previous work done in this particular formation from 1904 up to the 2012 in 108 years, if you see, when I put according to the 2013 time scale, I find out that Takchi formation or Pin formation is indicated by Cation to early Silurian age. And there is no data for this particular time period. There is nothing. And Thango formation is assigned to lower Ordovician age, that's all. So I think, how is there any unconformity in between that? But geologically in field, there is no evidence of unconformity. So why this time period is not recorded in the record? So I find out the existing gaps, these three existing gaps, and based on that, in 2014 onwards, myself and my team from Panjab University, and in collaboration with the others from Colorado Boulder, Paul Myro, University of Estonia, Professor Olivville, Central South University, Kansa, Dr. Wang Hui, and BSIP Lucknow. This is R.S. Negi, Dr. R.S. Negi, my former PhD student. We have started the work in the particularly this group, and we have published a number of papers in recent years, and this gives the major contribution on the Takchi formation. And this Bhargava et al. Two publications now we are under printing, so they are giving major contribution on Thango formation. So you can see the field photograph. This is the Cambrian Kundimla formation, and this is the contact line between the Ordovician and Thango formation. It is a conglomerate unit. You can see the pebbles. This is the red quartzite of Thango. This is Thango, and the transition zone, some red and white patches. Then there is a carbonate. This all is a Takchi or pin formation, and then this is the Muth quartzite. This is a classical section of Pin Valley. So we published the carbon and oxygen isotope in Maro et al. 2019 publication, and we identified the three events. One is the lower HIC, that is the Hirnantian isotopic carbon excursion of the cation Hirnantian boundary interval. Second, we identified the Poroveja positive excursion, and third is the Boda event, that is the global warming event. Now the work is under progress on the fossils fauna, which shows the variation from cold climate to warm climate conditions. This paper is published in 2024. Again, here we got some typical trace fossils of Tremodosian and Darwinian age, that is the lower and middle Ordovician age from the lowermost part of Takchi formation. So this age is coincide with the, you can see here, this is the Darwinian. This age fossil we got in the lower part of Takchi formation from here. So based on that, we give another. This is also the fauna, beautiful gastropod and molluscus. We recorded from the Tidong Valley, Kinnaur section, particularly from the Ordovician section, same Takchi formation. And we published it. Again, we made the sequence stratigraphic analysis of the Pin Valley section, Parai Valley section also. It is published in Chauba et al. 2023. And this is the, again, this is cold water algae, warm water algae. We have this collected from the Parai Valley section. It is published in the Chauba et al. 2019. And these are the Ordovician acritarchs, and we published with the Wang et al. 2021 from the Parai Valley section. Now this is the Calcitarch Ordovician Silurian sections from the Takchi formation by the Wien et al. 2023. Now this is see, my paper was rejected in Nature Geoscience, but after 3 years, Professor Nigel Hughes approached me and he put his Zircon data from the Lesser Himalayan zone and find out it is giving the characters of Ordovician rocks. So my paper is rejected, but now this paper is published in Journal Geological Society of London, and I'm being also co-author on that. So we have find out that time period all over. We measure from Kashmir, Janskar, in Parayok, Mao, Nepal, and other Tibet also. So we have find out there is a major unconformity gap between the Cambrian and Ordovician rocks of this. And this is the, again, when we started working in Kinnaur Valley in 2023. So what we have find out, there is an additional lithal unit which are so far not recognized in the Northwest Himalaya, and it is the below than the this conglomerate band. In Spiti, you have conglomerate and then Cambrian rocks, but here we have early Ordovician rocks also. So now this is a major revision on lithostratigraphy. It is in press, Bhargava et al. So we are now classified the Thango formation into 3 members, Yamnangla, Chango, and Sian. Earlier, it was divided into Chango and Sian. It's a conglomeratic unit, and this is the red quartzite unit. You can see red quartzite unit, and this is the conglomerate unit. But now additional lithal unit is recognized below than this conglomerate in the Kinnaur section. So probably this lithal unit is not deposited in Spiti and Janskar region. So what target, initially there was a gap, but now it is fixed. The Takchi formation range from Depingian up to the early Silurian. Lower part indicates Depingian, Darwinian, and Sanguian age. However, middle part, particularly Cation and Hirnantian, and upper part belongs to early Silurian. So we fix the age limit of lower part of Takchi formation. Second, we revise the lithostratigraphic classification and age of the Thango formation. Still, detailed work on sedimentological, chemostratigraphic, although done in one section only, but need to done in many other sections also. Same biostratigraphic and paleoclimatic studies, it is still lacking from Himalaya. So one life is not enough because I'm working since last 25 years in this particular topics, and more workers required to carry forward our legacy. I invite and welcomes all of you, and especially to the young students, to enter in Himalaya, because work is required in rocks of all ages, not only Cambrian and Ordovician, because of the evolving geological time scale. And moreover, India lacks new generation of devoted Himalayan geology. So it is a good time for all of you, those who can persist in the Cambrian and younger rocks in the Himalaya also. So this is the recent honor I have collected from the Kashmir section. So this is under press. Now, thank you very much for listening this talk. Thank you. So anything if